Hey guys, welcome to Slow Flow. So this class, the Slow Flow class, is different from gentle yoga. That's what a lot of people seem to mistake slow flow. And it can be a lot harder than regular yoga because you hold some poses for a really long time. Now the flip side is that includes your stretches and at the end the shavasana tends to be a little bit longer. So from that perspective it's nice, but of course we're going to be holding other poses longer than we usually do. So that being said, you may find yourself having to go into child's pose more, just step out of the pose for a second and just be okay with that. So we're actually going to start in Shavasana, or not Shavasana, but corpse pose. We're going to be here for a couple of minutes. So you can close your eyes, or I encourage you to try instead just softening your eyes, like maybe deliberately blurring your eyes. Just allow your body to sink a little deeper into the mat. Let your breath get a little deeper. And take these minutes, we're going to be here a couple of minutes, to really pull yourself out of wherever you are in life right now. Sometimes I like to literally envision myself being physically sucked out of my life, almost like a giant straw, and then just kind of plopped out on my mat. You might not need such an aggressive visualization, but hopefully my meaning comes across, that you are completely, deliberately pulling yourself out of anything that you might be in right now. It could be something you're excited about and you're planning and just kind of, maybe it's a project and you're kind of consumed in it, and in your head you're still doing it and it was really hard to pull yourself away. Or it could be something that you're ruminating about, you're fearful or you're angry or holding on to something. So just take that big old straw and suck yourself out of it and put yourself completely in this moment for the next hour. And just be. I'm going to be here for a few more breaths. So deliberately deepen each inhale in through your nose, deep down into your lungs, and exhale with a sigh. One more breath here. And then slowly walk both feet up towards your body. Bring both feet flat on the floor. And then pull the knees into the chest. And just roll very gently side to side. You've got nowhere to be. You don't have to watch the clock. I'll do that for you. One more big breath. Next, we're going to extend the left leg long and extend the right leg into the air. Grab that right leg anywhere in the back and hold. Take time to really sink into this pose. It's one of the good things about a slow flow is it, honestly, I kind of shied away from it for a long time because it kind of has that same feeling that yin yoga always gave me. It's like I wanted to, my task-oriented brain wanted to like move on to the next thing. Like, okay, how much longer are we going to be here? But the good thing about a slow flow is when you're in the stretches, you have more time to deepen and relax. And then when you're in the working poses, obviously there's the physical aspect. You have more of an opportunity to strengthen, but psychologically, it really makes you challenge yourself. One more breath here. And slowly release. Other side. Really let yourself sink into this pose, especially the hamstring stretches. If you sit a lot, this stretch, if you pay attention, we're holding each side for 1 minute. Try this on your own at some point and just examine how your body feels before you do and after you do. And it's amazing. It's not just the backs of your legs that feel better. It's your hips, it's your lower back. It really affects that whole kinetic chain. It can affect it all the way up to your neck and your shoulders. One more breath here. And slowly release. And now we're going to come into a bridge pose. So feet are flat on the floor. Press firmly into the mat. Press your arms firmly into the mat and bridge up. This might not be the full range of motion that you would have at the end of your practice, and that's okay. Right now, we're just starting to slowly, very slowly, slower than usual, start to move a little bit more heat into the body. So really pay attention to that and honor your body where it is. And the interesting thing about a lower bridge is, in my experience, it requires a lot more work. It's like once you get up past this certain point, it's like one side of the body kind of supports the other in an arch, where when you're kind of straight up and down like this, it's almost like a upside down plank. This feels a little harder. A couple more breaths here. One more big breath. And slowly lower down. And then we're going to start to roll up and down until we come all the way to a seated position and all the way over into Sphinx. Okay, so in Sphinx, we're really starting to get active. This is not a passive pose. We're going to support ourselves on our forearms, really spread your fingers wide, and almost kind of pull with your hands, kind of grip the mat a little bit more, where you kind of lift the chest up. You're not necessarily actually going anywhere. It's kind of just an isometric movement where you're really activating these muscles and your arms and your chest. And then press the tops of your feet firmly into the mat. Press your pelvis into the mat. Lift your chest and breathe. Couple more breaths here. One more. And now we're going to push all the way back into child's pose. And we're going to really start to walk your hands long. Maybe roll your head side to side. And then slowly rise up, and we're going to go into down dog. So we're going to stay in down dog for 8 breaths while I fix a technical difficulty. So stay in down dog. Keep breathing, spread your fingers wide. Put a little gentle bend in the knees if you need to. Let the head hang long to stretch the neck. Roll everything out. And then find a place of stillness. One more big breath. And then step to the front of your mat and standing forward fold. Next, inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, lower. Inhale, reverse swan dive up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Okay, we're going to hang out in mountain pose for a couple breaths. Roll the shoulders back and down, feet hip distance apart. Pull in the belly button, soften the knees. Couple more breaths here. Next, inhale, arms sweep up. And the right hand catches the left wrist. Lift up and exhale to the right. Breathe, lengthen the left side of the body. Inhale up and switch sides. Left hand catches right wrist and exhale to the left. Always trying to create a little bit more length on both sides of the body. One more big breath. And inhale up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Okay, we're going to do a little gentle flow here. Nice and slow with your breath as you inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold down. Again, inhale up, soft knees halfway. Exhale, fold down. Keep moving with your breath. Two more breaths. Last one. Inhale, reverse swan dive up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Okay, big inhale up. Exhale, fold down. This time we're gonna step back into down dog. 5 breaths in down dog. Really explore this pose. Spread out wide through the fingers. Pull the belly button in. Press the belly towards the thighs. One more breath. Inhale, step the right foot forward and drop the left knee down. Okay, we're gonna bring our left elbow to the outside of our right knee. Bring the right hand on top, lengthen the spine and twist. We're gonna hold here for 8 breaths. You can curl the back toe under if you want to. But again, explore this pose. See if you need to make minor adjustments. Three more breaths. Last one. Unwind, hands frame the front foot. Step back into down dog. 5 breaths again. Two more breaths. And last one. Next inhale, left foot steps forward, right knee comes down. Right elbow comes to the outside of the left knee. Left hand presses into the right hand and twist. We're gonna be here for 8 breaths. Explore pose. Don't feel like you have to stay perfectly still in a pose. Three more breaths. And unwind. Step back into down dog. 1 breath here. And now we're going to shift forward into plank for 8 breaths. Halfway there. Two more breaths. And lower down. Now we're going to come into a cobra. And if you just feel completely fatigued and not strong enough to support it at this moment, then come right up here to a sphinx. Otherwise, hands hug the chest, shoulders roll back and down, elbows pulled in, press the tops of the feet into the floor and inhale up. We're going to stay up for 5 breaths. One more breath. Lower all the way down and press all the way back into child's pose. One more breath here. Inhale, rise up to tabletop. Curl the toes under, down dog. Slowly walk towards the front of the mat. We're going to hang out in standing forward fold for a few breaths. Let the weight of the head lengthen the neck. You can sway side to side. And then slowly ragdoll your way up, one vertebrae at a time. Good. Okay, so we're going to set up for a balance pose. I'm going to come to the middle of the mat, so hopefully you can see me a little better. And we're going to go into either airplane or warrior 3. And let me just say, if balance is an issue, if you have knee problems, if this just is not part of your practice, then you can always come to a wall and just kind of experiment with just having a soft knee on the standing leg and just kind of hinging forward and back. And that's going to really help to strengthen all those muscles that allows you to one day do that, or at least just give you more balance in general. Otherwise, we're going to get nice and grounded in this right leg, nice and tall through the body. Bring the hands out in this mountain pose stance. And again, keep that knee soft as you hinge forward and see how parallel you can get with the mat. If you want to inhale the arms overhead, you can, but just keep in mind that's going to put more of a strain on the lower back. So just know you can stay right here. Two more breaths here. And slowly lower down. Step the right foot back. You're in this wide-legged stance. Feet are parallel with each other. Really press on the outsides of the feet. Bend the knee slightly to hinge forward and roll all the way down. Sway side to side. Roll your head around, whatever feels right. So yeah, we hold the working poses longer, but we also hold the restorative or the stretching, the restful poses longer. Two more breaths. Nice deep bend into the knees, and we slowly roll up. Step to the front of your mat. Airplane or warrior three on the other side. So get firm in this left foot. Press down through the foot, but also keep the knee soft. Get nice and tall through the center of the body. Hinge forward. Keep pulling in that belly button. It might seem like a lot when you're just trying to wavering around, trying not to fall down, but it actually can really help ground you more. If you like kind of relax your belly for a second and then pull it in tight and just notice how that gives you a better center of gravity. Two more breaths. And step long on the mat. Soft bend in the knees, hands on the hips, hinge forward and roll down. From here, we bring the left hand flat in, inhale the right arm up. You can always drop that hand behind the back if that feels better. We're going to be here for 4 more breaths. And exhale the right hand down, inhale the left arm up. 5 breaths here. And exhale the left hand down. Again, bend into the legs. Slowly ragdoll your way up. And step to the front of the mat. Big inhale up. Exhale, hands to heart center. 2 more times here. Inhale up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold down and step back into down dog. Two more breaths in down dog. Next, inhale, right foot comes forward, and we're gonna spin and drop the left foot where the left toes are pointed to the left front corner of the mat. And then we inhale the arms up for warrior one. And we'll be here for 5 breaths. Anybody who's really taken my class a lot will very likely notice I don't do a lot of warrior one because, quite honestly, I don't like how it feels. So that's why we're doing it. Because feels, there's a good chance other people don't like how it feels, which means we probably need to be doing it more. 2 more breaths here. One more breath, and we're going to open up to warrior two. I'm going to step the other way just so you can really see what I'm doing here. So when we open up to warrior two, we start in warrior one, we're here. We're going to wind this arm back, and then we're going to step this left foot out more, like closer to parallel with the back of the mat. And so you'll hear a lot of this talk of trying to get your parallel with the mat. And actually in my early teaching days, I was totally guilty of that, but we're kind of wiser now that our bodies are generally not made to move that way. And so instead, we just want to very gently roll this left hip back just a little bit. Roll the shoulders back and down. So the chest is lifted, the shoulders are activated, but at the same time, the neck is soft. Soften the face. One more breath here. And then hinge forward, right arm on the right side. Extend the left arm either straight up or overhead. So if you're overhead, make sure you're not like this. It's a nice straight line. That's why it's called side angle. Straight up and down. See how much you can lengthen the left side of the body. Good. And then go all the way down into down dog. I'm going to go back to the first side so you can see me on the other side. 4 more breaths in down dog. On your next inhale, left foot floats in between the hands. Spin and drop the right foot, or it's pointed towards the front right corner of the mat. And inhale up to warrior one, other side. Lift the chest, roll the shoulders back and down. Two more breaths. And then right foot open together into warrior two. So again, in warrior two, roll the shoulders back and down. This back knee should have just the softest little bend in it. Shouldn't be locked out. Left knee is open. Shoulders activated, pull down the back. Chest is lifted, but neck is soft. Check in with that back arm. Make sure it's not drooping down. One more breath here. And then hinge forward, extend the right arm up. So you can be here or you can be here as long as you have a nice straight line. You can't be here. It doesn't really do anything. And it compromises the lower back. See how far you can reach that right hand into the air. It should feel really good on your hip. And make sure you're not pressing all of your weight into that left arm. Your core should still be activated. One more breath. Exhale, come down and step back into plank. Let's come into a forearm plank this time. Couple more breaths here. We'll be done with the hard stuff in a minute. Your next inhale, you're gonna, if this feels okay, roll to your left side, bring your right arm up. If that doesn't feel good, come down on the knees, stack one knee on top of the other. Exhale, right arm down. And other side. Inhale the left arm up. Nice straight line with the body. And come center and all the way down into a Sphinx. So let's get back in this active Sphinx, just like we were at the beginning of the class. Notice any differences in your body. The most noticeable difference should be that muscles are activating better. It's like when we're cold, if we haven't really exerted ourselves much that day, things don't seem to fire right away. So now your body should feel more activated, more awake and alive. That's why we do what we do. Relax the shoulders back and down. So it's an active pose. The legs are pressed firmly into the mat, but it's also a peaceful pose. We're finding that balance, again, between the work and the ease. One more full breath. And then we sink once again into child's pose. One more breath here. And rise up into tabletop. Thread the right arm under the left arm, drop down on the shoulder and the side of the head. And then maybe you walk this left arm forward. Maybe it even walks to the right corner of the mat if that feels okay. One more breath. Slide the left hand back towards the body, press up, and other side. Thread the left arm under, extend the right arm out, and walk that right arm all the way over to the left corner of the mat, and breathe. One more full breath. And slowly unwind. Come all the way to a seated position. If you've got some blocks, that's great. If you don't, that's okay. Find something that you can just rest your head on to lean forward. So this is more of kind of like a restorative pose. So just look around your house and grab anything, an ottoman, your dog, whatever. Find something, not your dog. Find something that won't move. And fold forward. And what you may find is after a few breaths that you have to kind of adjust it because you deepen a little bit more into the stretch. One more breath here. Good. Okay, go ahead and move whatever your prop is out to the side. And now we're gonna do, it's kind of just like an easy pigeon. We're gonna just kind of stay lean to one side. And if you wanna roll completely over into a pigeon, you can, but the reason I've started suggesting this more when I'm teaching at home practices is because it's a more gentle version of a pigeon. So if you love pigeon and you can get into it with no problem and it feels good, then go into pigeon. But otherwise, we're just gonna kind of extend this top leg out, bring this leg down. You can even bring props again and just kind of come down on your side. But like I said, if you just love pigeon, then come into pigeon. Two more breaths. And slowly rise up, other side. Okay, so same thing here. If you can just pop into pigeon and feel really good, go for it. Otherwise, just make it a nice, gentle, easy stretch. I'm gonna call this sideline pigeon. Totally not a thing, except now it is. One more breath. And then slowly rise up and come onto your back. Bring your arms out wide, bend your left knee, let it drop over to the right. You might even want to bring your right hand onto the left knee to just sit ever so gently, deepen that stretch as you turn to look at the left arm. Remember, if any of that doesn't feel good, don't do it. Stretching should always just feel good. One more breath. Pull the knee in towards the chest to unwind. And if you notice, I always say that that doesn't just mean nothing. If you're pulling, you're unwinding from down here, that puts a big strain on your lower back. So if you lift that knee up to unwind, that really helps you control the movement more and avoids injury, especially when you're in such a passive stretch. So extend the left leg long, pull the right knee in, arms wide, and drop the right knee over to the left. Maybe the left hand comes to the right knee. Maybe turn to look at the right hand. That feels good. One more breath here. Release the knee, pull that knee into the chest. And no practice is complete for me without happy baby. Right foot in the right hand, left foot in the left hand. If you can't get the knees wide, bring your hands behind your knees. We're trying to get our knees wide. This is not happy baby. This is. And then extend your legs. Let your arms hang loose on the floor at your side. And relax into your final relaxation pose. Take a moment to notice anything that feels different, anything that perhaps has shifted from the beginning of your practice until now. Hopefully you were thoroughly sucked through that straw. Plop down completely in your practice. But if you're still a little stuck in the straw, now's the time to wiggle your way the rest of the way out of it. Get fully in this moment, fully in your body in this moment. This is all we have. This is it. Each moment, the present moment, that's what we live in. Take a couple more easy breaths here. Maybe start to make little twitches with your fingers and toes. As you make the little twitches, imagine them almost like little dots of static electricity start to vibrate through your body, start to cause larger movements until you feel almost compelled to start moving the bigger parts of your body and the center of your body. Maybe turn your head side to side. Then you can either turn to one side of your body or pull your knees into your chest and start to gently rock your body, roll your back, give yourself a little massage. And then as you feel ready, begin to make your way to a seated position. Sit with a nice tall spine. You can have your palms face down on your knees. If you feel maybe a little bit more introspective, maybe a little bit more closed off or inside yourself, which is perfectly okay. Replace your palms up if you feel more receptive, more open to anything life throws at you. There is no right or wrong answer. Let's draw our hands to heart center and bow to say namaste.